Hey everyone, it's Jack here at TalkNorwichCity. Welcome back to another video. I've said before and I'll say it again, these Sunday morning reflection videos, looking back on Saturday's game, continue to be one of my favourite strands of content when Norwich City are winning. I was reading an article this morning about the joys of snooker going late into the night as I think the UK Championship semis went kind of into the early hours of this morning. And actually the joy of those types of games are the kind of delayed gratification that you get, and not always instantly in the moment. You know how good it is. And look, I knew very much how good it was in the moment yesterday. Not the snooker, not Barry Hawkins, but Norwich City on the Johannes Torp, but also the delayed gratification that I get from this Norwich side at the moment, and the joy that watching the highlights back brings, and reading the articles from Connor Southwell, and listening to Canary call back, and reading Twitter. Those moments and reflecting on those moments after it's all happened brings me huge amounts of joy as well. And I tweeted actually after the game yesterday, I was like, football is fun again. Football is fun again. And I think that's really important to me. You know, I go to the football, and I've been very lucky this season to do more away games than I have been in recent years. And that feeling is very much back again of, just huge amounts of joy, huge amounts of fun. I think that's kind of a multifaceted reason why that's happened. The football that we play, the players that we've got, the culture amongst the fan base. Once again, it feels like we've got our Norwich back, and that's really exciting. And regardless of league table and where we are at this stage, I really want to savour that feeling. And I think that everyone I speak to and everyone I see at the ground and away games and speak to online have a similar feeling as well. And that will be different for each and every one of us. But for me, this is a really special period at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. And that might sound really strange from if you're not necessarily a Norwich fan and you're looking at this team and going, oh, they're like mid-table in the Championship and they've lost more games than they've won. That might be a really strange thing to hear, but you'd understand it if you've supported Norwich over the last decade, and that this feeling can create something special. And actually, I haven't got it there. I had a HMS PTL hat on the if you're a watch along fan, you'll remember that OG Laken's wheel spinner. And I was just looking at that the other day and going, God, the memories that we made in 2018, 19, 2020, 2021, they are lifetime long memories, and it feels like we're maybe not doing that, but something's building, and that's really exciting. Look, that's a deep ramble early on a Sunday. Sorry about that. Norwich City beating Luton Town 4-2. It's 10 goals for Norwich in 5 days at Carrow Road. It's an unbeaten week. It's 12 goals in a week if you go back to the Hawthorns and West Brom. Last Saturday, and a couple of very winnable away games coming up in the shape of QPR and Portsmouth. So it feels like Norwich have potentially turned the corner. And when we were in that slump and we were struggling to not lose games, that was the big thing, and put in some pretty honking performances in that time. The logical brain in you is going, it's fine, it's just injuries. We just need time to pass, and things will start to naturally heal themselves. That is the logical approach, and actually that was the correct approach here. But the devil in your mind is going, oh God, maybe Johannes Torp isn't all that, and maybe the players aren't cut out to kind of achieve what we thought they might be able to achieve this season. Or maybe it was all a flash in a pan, those couple of wins at home early on this season. And actually, we've been being logical has actually proven right here, which is a nice thing. And the return of Kenny McLean and Angus Gunn and Marcelino Nunes does make the difference that we thought it would. And this was a very different win to what we saw on Tuesday night. The win against Plymouth was emphatic and convincing, but it was like Tiger Woods kind of rocking up to a recreational golf club in their midweek medal and sort of winning by 10. That's all well and good, but how's he going to perform at the Masters the following week? And actually, Tiger Woods is actually quite good, and this Norwich team are actually quite good. So that was pleasing to see that. And look, Luton are an interesting side. I've got a lot of friends who are Luton fans, and was speaking to them before the game, and they were really down on kind of what's up this season. And look, there's a multitude of reasons why it's not quite worked out for Luton so far this season, but in the back of my mind there was like, this is still a good squad that Luton have. They diced it in the Premier League last season. They've got a good coach in Rob Edwards. Like, this isn't going to be easy, and actually we found out it wasn't going to be easy. And I heard I heard Connor Southwell say that Luton side really reminded him of Norwich City under Dean Smith, and I thought that was a really fair assessment. Like, quite stodgy, not really creating much, like some good players in there, but just coached in a slightly strange way, and ultimately in a bit of a rut now, and that's really difficult to break that cycle, particularly after the back of a Premier League relegation. Like, the quality is there, that they can do it, but it's that almost fatigue of just having to go again that's really, really difficult, and I think Luton are going through that at the moment. But this wasn't easy, and Norwich were impressive. I think it's the first time this season we've come from behind to win a game. Really sloppy goal to give away. It was Anis Ben Slimani. I turned around to Chris literally seconds before he gave the ball away for the opening goal and said, Anis Ben Slimani could be in for a shout for player of the season this year, and then literally gives the ball away and we concede, which was excellent. But yeah, again, I'm just going to copy what Connor said, and I said it at the time, actually. There are going to be times this season where individuals make mistakes, giving the ball away when they realistically shouldn't. This is a high tariff way of playing football, and there will be mistakes, and ultimately some mistakes will lead to goals. It was a poor moment from Anis Ben Slimani, who I think has been excellent all season. But you could tell that, like, systematically things weren't going to change. They were going to stick to their guns. And 5 minutes afterwards, Ante Cianat scores a goal. Really chuffed for Ante Cianat. Like, he's very young. I think I forget how young he is. He's 20 years old. He's moved to a new country. Huge pressure on his shoulders already. I mean, pressure number one, big price tag. He doesn't pick that, but naturally people will judge him based on the amount of money that he cost Norwich City. And pressure point number two is our main man in Josh Sargent is out injured. Here you go, Ante, go and fill those very large shoes of his. And actually, for the most part, he's done very well. He scored, 5 goals now this season? 4 goals. 3 goals this week. I thought both of his goals were really nicely taken, particularly that first. It's a wonderful first touch. It's a nice little dink pass from Forson, and you're straight back in the game. And then they follow it up with another one. A wonderful assist from Jack Stacey, who has been mightily impressive since kind of returning into that right back position, and now has a conundrum for Johannes Torup, because Kellen Fisher's back in the fold. He's been playing left back, but he's got Ben Crescene who could play there. At time of talking, Jack Stacey is undroppable from that right back position. His engine to get up and down the pitch. Actually, his defensive duties have been bang on. 3-4 assists from him just this week alone. He adds so much going forwards, and I think Johannes Torup said in his interviews after the game that he's been made to feel slightly stupid. I think he called himself kind of a stupid Danish manager that's come over here and dropped Jack Stacey and then put him back in, and he's become one of the Championship's best defenders. But yeah, he's just flourished in this system. It was shocking defending from Chong, who I actually really liked, but was very poor yesterday for Luton. Nice ball from Stacey, nice finish from Cianat. You're right back in it. Could have probably gone on and almost killed the game after that, but foot came off the gas. And then straight after the break, Luton equalised through Brown. Just a really sloppy goal to concede. Had a couple of chances to clear that corner, didn't. And at 2-2, and actually Luton applied a little bit of pressure after that. You're thinking, oof, like maybe that Plymouth game was a slight flash in the pan, and we should have all stayed, kept our feet a bit more firmly on the ground after that. And that was a really interesting kind of period from 50 minutes to the full-time whistle of how will Norwich deal with this? What will Johannes Torup do? Let's see if these players can dig deep. And they huffed and they puffed, and I thought actually looked quite good. And then the bits of quality came kind of the 80th minute onwards. Lovely goal from Emi Marcondes, but actually he'll be quite disappointed because none of the chat will be about him in this goal. The chat will be about Shane Duffy's marauding run forwards. The main chat will be around Ante Cianats, who won a hat-trick, spins McGuinness beautifully, and plays just a sumptuous ball across goal. It's the type of goal, if you concede that on FIFA, that controller is getting absolutely launched against the wall because you're fully expecting Ante Cianats to hit it and somehow finds Marcondes, tap in for Marcondes. I thought actually in, his 2 goals, put those aside, the best moment from Ante Cianats yesterday was that assist. It was a wonderful moment and just completely unselfish and shows the footballing brain that Ante Cianats has and the reason he demanded the price tag he did. He's 20 years old. And he's starting to come good for Norwich City, and that's really exciting and also much needed for Norwich City. Game's finished off at 86 minutes. Borja Sainz, who had actually had quite a frustrating game up until that stage. I thought Luton did really well in nullifying him. And I think actually that there'll be probably question marks from Johannes Hoftorp in how to change that system slightly to get more out of Borja Sainz, because Fisher and Sainz, they're just... Maybe it was just a one-off, but I thought there was complete lack of cohesion down that left side yesterday. And I think there will be interesting kind of moments from now until we face QPR at Loftus Road, is who plays left-back next week. Is it Ben Crescene or is it Kellen Fisher? I really like Kellen Fisher, but I think he's more of a right-back. But you can't drop Jack Stacey at the moment. And I think we looked slightly more balanced with Ben Crescene in there and Borja Sainz ahead of him. But good problems to have. They are the problems you want to have as a manager. 2 good players battling it out. Who are you going to pick? That's up to him. But actually, again, it was the assist that was the main moment of this goal. It was a lovely run and a delicious cross from Onel Hernandez to finish the game off. And I think actually, I spoke about it in that game against West Brom and in the game on Tuesday night. It's almost, you notice the biggest difference now that players are coming back in the substitutions that you can make. We brought on Marcelino Nunes, Onel Hernandez, Oscar Schwartau, Ashley Barnes and Jakob Sorensen yesterday. That is a huge difference to be able to make, particularly in Nunes and Hernandez. I thought Nunes was excellent when he came on yesterday, and I'd almost forgotten just how much of an influence he can have on the game. And Onel Hernandez, who, look, people will question his end product, but in the Championship, he will create things. And I think Chris summed it up quite nicely yesterday. He has that go on factor. Like when he's on the ball, you're expecting something to happen, and that might be a blaze shot into Rose Ed, that might be a shocking cross across goal, but he will get into the positions to make something. And actually, it was a really composed assist from Onel yesterday, and you could see how delighted Borja Sainz was for Onel, who's come on. And actually, there's a good problem to have in that right wing position, because we've been playing a man called Forsen there, and look, Forsen has his moments. He's, again, very young. Will be classed as kind of a development player. And Johannes clearly likes him, and actually it's quite a low-risk position, that right wing position, because realistically, if a Mankwa makes a mistake, it's probably not going to, cost us a goal. But is giving him minutes in these types of games. I would be interested now if Onel starts against QPR. Also with Onel, though, he's such a lovely impact to have off the bench, and I thought he was brought on at the exact right moment yesterday. 62 minutes on the clock, the game had settled a little bit, Norwich were looking for another goal, brings him on and did make a difference. Couple him in with Nunes, absolute substitution masterclass from Johannes Hoftorp. So look, it wasn't the finest of performances, but there were moments of real quality. And actually, the joy for me came, one, in the goals. Norwich are the top scorers in the division at home this season by quite some stretch. I think we've scored 25. The next best is Leeds on 20. So entertainment value very much there. But there just seems to be a real joy and a cohesion amongst that squad of players. Like, everyone seems to want the best for everyone else. Borja Sainz, after Marcondes scores, goes to celebrate with Ante Cianats and was delighted for him. Borja Sainz scores and basically just credits Onel Hernandez for the goal, and is just pointing, going, I'll celebrate this guy. He's left me a tap in. There feels to be, a moment where everyone is lifting each other up, and Ante Cianats has had a difficult month, and actually now it's come good, and you can see the joy from the players for him. And yeah, there's a good feeling around the players at the moment, and that can really carry you places. And we've seen it. Like, if Johannes Torup has pretty much a full strength 11 to choose from, there's not going to be many teams that we will struggle to beat this season. Now it's about consistency. Now it's about putting together a real run of performances, and let's see if we can match these kind of results away from home as well. Because yes, QPR and Portsmouth on paper you should be beating, but it's a very different kind of task when you're not at Carrow Road, and it's often been our away form that's let us down in previous campaigns and to an extent this season as well. So we shall see, but on the whole, a really pleasing day, a good atmosphere around the place, and just excited now to see where this Norwich team can go, and that's a real joy. And I'm enjoying my football at the moment. If you can't tell, let me know what you thought down in the comment section below, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.